بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وبه نستعين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين واللعن الدائم على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك، عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار، ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين ورحمة الله وبركاته. أما بعد، فقد قال الله العظيم في محكم كتابه الكريم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم: قل يوم الفتح لا ينفع الذين كفروا إيمانهم ولا هم ينظرون. صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. Every man's responsibility in his time is to know and understand the Imam of his time. The Imam of our time is Imam al-Mahdi, Ajalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu al-Sharif. And when we look at the movement of Imam al-Mahdi and the movement of Imam al-Hussain, we see many similarities and many links that very few people talk about. However, if we truly want to understand the movement of Imam al-Mahdi, if we truly want to grasp the magnitude and the importance of the movement of Imam al-Mahdi, we have to look at the link that is between his movement and the movement of Imam al-Hussain. And the link is great. I will talk about 5 links between Imam al-Hussein's movement and Imam al-Mahdi's movement, and what links both of them and their movements. The first one and the obvious one is the ancestral link, in the sense that Imam al-Hussain is the grandfather of Imam al-Mahdi Ajallahu Ta'ala Farajah. Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam says, "Minna ithna ashara mahdiyan." From us is 12 Mahdis. 12 people who are Mahdis in the sense that they are Imams, they are leaders in their own right. أولهم أمير المؤمنين. The first one is Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ali ibn Abi Talib. وآخرهم التاسع من ولدي. And the last one is the 9th from my children. Even the other schools of thought, when it comes to Imam al-Mahdi, and they speak about this, all the Muslims agree that al-Mahdi is from the lineage of the Prophet through the sons of Fatima, through Imam al-Hussain. This is something that is agreed about with all the Muslims. And if you look at the books of the other schools of thought, just in As-Suyuti, this is one of the books of the other schools of thought, just in As-Suyuti there are over 200 ahadith mentioned about Imam al-Mahdi. Just As-Suyuti, over 200 ahadith. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of ahadith that are in the other schools of thought that mention Imam al-Mahdi by detail, how he will reappear, his lineage, and so on and so forth. This isn't something that is just for the Shia. Imam al-Mahdi is a basis of faith that even the other Muslims have to believe. This comes to the ancestral link. The second link is the link of reformation. Imam al-Hussain aimed or planned or requested to cause a reformation in the religion as it was on the brink of destruction. And I mentioned this in the very first lecture when the Imam says, إِنِّي لَمْ أَخْرُجْ أَشِرًا وَلَا بَطِرًا وَلَا ظَالِمًا وَلَا مُفْسِدًا وَإِنَّمَا خَرَجْتُ لِطَلَبِ الْإِصْلَاحِ فِي أُمَّتِ جَدِّي. That I did not come here for no reason. I came here to request, to start, to begin. لِطَلَب. Imam is very, very specific when he speaks. He says, لِطَلَبِ الْإِصْلَاح. To request, to aim for the islah, for the reformation of the religion. Because when you look at it after Imam al-Hussain, there was no islah. There was no islah. It went from the Umayyad Empire to the Abbasid Empire. What islah was there? The Imams were being slaughtered, every single one of them, either poisoned or either killed. There was no Islah after Imam al-Hussein, but Imam al-Hussein says, لِطَلَبِ الْإِصْلَاحِ. Imam al-Hussein began the process of the reformation. Who completes this process? Imam al-Mahdi عجل ta'ala فرجه الشريف, where Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam says, لو لم يبق في الدنيا إلا يوما واحدا لطول الله ذلك اليوم حتى يخرج رجل من ولدي فيملأها عدلا وقسطا كما ملئت ظلما وجورا. وكذلك سمعت جدي رسول الله يقول. Imam Hussein says that I heard my grandfather say that of my children will be a man, Al-Mahdi. He will reappear and he will bring justice upon earth. He will reform the religion of Allah as it was corrupted and destroyed. So the beginning of the process of reformation began with Imam al-Hussein, but will end and will be completely fulfilled with Imam al-Mahdi عجل ta'ala فرجه الشريف. It began with Imam al-Hussein and it ends with Imam al-Mahdi. The third link, and this one is a very important one that I want you to focus with me on. It's called the introductory link. What do I mean by this? The introductory link. A lot of the scholars have discussed and talked about the message of Imam al-Hussein, the letter of Imam al-Hussein to Bani Hashim. It is a very short letter. And he writes, this is the letter. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. من الحسين بن علي بن أبي طالب إلى بني هاشم أما بعد. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. From Hussein ibn Ali to Bani Hashim, the Hashemites. أما بعد فإنه من لحق بي منكم استشهد ومن تخلف لم يبلغ الفتح والسلام. Whoever catches up to me will be martyred, and whoever does not catch up to me will not witness al-Fath. A lot of the scholars, all of the scholars have debated what did the Imam mean by this very short letter. Until today, this is an ongoing debate. What did the Imam mean by, if you catch up to me, you will be martyred. If you do not catch up to me, you will not witness the Fath. In the Arabic language, Fath means the opening. You have the opposite of Fath, ghalq, closing, opening. However, in context of Quran and religion, Fath means the victory. I ask you a question. The tragedy of Karbala, was it a victory? When talking about the battle-wise, the physical sense, was it a victory? No. Imam al-Hussein, him and his men and his family were slaughtered. There was no victory. But Imam is saying, if you catch up to me, you will be martyred. If you don't, you will not witness the Fath. What is this victory that Imam al-Hussein is talking about? We go to the Quran, we see the context where al-Fath is mentioned. One of the verses that I mentioned in the very beginning, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. قُلْ يَوْمَ الْفَتْحِ لَا يَنْفَعَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا إِيمَانَهُمْ وَلَا هُمْ يُنظَرُونَ. Say, O Prophet of Allah, on the day of victory, on the day of opening, it will not benefit the disbelievers to believe then, nor will they be delayed. Imam al-Sadiq translates and explains this very verse. What does he say? He says, يوم الفتح الموعود في الآية هو المهدي عليه السلام. The day of the Fath, the day of victory is the Mahdi. For verily when he reappears, there will be no more opportunity for anyone to turn back to the faith. When the Imam appears, you are either a Muslim or either you're not. There is no second chance after that. When the Imam Mahdi appears. And that Fath, that victory, is the return of Imam al-Mahdi. Furthermore, look into the Quran. إِذَا جَاءَ نَصْرُ اللَّهِ وَرَأَيْتَ النَّاسَ يَدْخُلُونَ فِي دِينِ اللَّهِ أَفْوَاجًا فَسَبِّحْ بِحَمْدِ رَبِّكَ وَاسْتَغْفِرْهُ إِنَّهُ كَانَ تَوَّابًا. When the day comes of victory, with the day of the Nasr of Allah, the aid of Allah, and al-Fath, the victory comes, and you see the people entering the religion of Allah in waves. فَسَبِّحْ بِحَمْدِ رَبِّكَ وَاسْتَغْفِرْ. This surah, Imam al-Rida says, was the very last chapter that was brought down on the Prophet, peace be upon him. The very last chapter. I'll ask you a question. If it was the very last chapter, what Fatah, what victory is Allah talking about? The Fatah of Mecca already happened. What is the meaning of Allah bringing down this verse or this chapter towards the very end of the Prophet's life? Then when we look at the other verse where Imam al-Sadiq says, that fath is Imam al-Mahdi. This opening, this victory is the return of Imam al-Mahdi, where he will carry the banner of Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam. So when Imam al-Hussain says, "Man lahiqa bi istushhid," whoever catches up to me is martyred. However, if he does not, he will not witness the victory, the opening, the fath. This fath is the beginning. The people who were slaughtered and martyred on the day of Ashura witnessed the beginning of the movement of Imam al-Mahdi. Witnessed the very beginning of al-Fath. And that Fath is the zuhur of Imam al-Mahdi, as the backbone of the movement of Imam al-Mahdi is Ya li tharat al-Hussain. This is the reason why Imam al-Hussain says that if you witness what happened in Karbala, you witness al-Fath. The Fath is the movement and the return of Imam al-Mahdi, who the backbone of his return will be Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam. And then we have the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, says, Al-a'immatu min ba'di ithna ashar. The Imams after me are 12. Ithna ashar. And then he says, أولهم أنت يا علي. The first one is you, O Ali. وآخرهم القائم الذي يفتح الله عز وجل على يده مشارق الأرض ومغاربها. The context of Fath is also mentioned in this hadith. And the 12th one is Al-Mahdi, who Allah will give him the opening and the victory to spread the religion from its east to its west. To apply the religion as it was truly supposed to be applied. So notice the link here. The Fath that Imam al-Hussain was talking about is the return of Imam al-Mahdi. Imam al-Mahdi is not just the hope of Imam al-Hussain, is the hope of all of the prophets. From Adam until Imam Hassan al-Askari, the hope of all of them is al-Mahdi. That is the hope of all of them. And hence, the hadith say when Imam al-Mahdi alayhi salam, ajjallahu ta'ala farajah, appears, Imam al-Sadiq says, Yunadi باسم القائم عليه السلام في ليلة 23 من شهر رمضان. On the night of the 23rd of the month of Ramadan, the sayha will happen. The sayha is the scream, where in the beginning of the day, Jibreel will say, ألا أن الحق مع علي وشيعته. And then at the end of the day, Shaitan will scream, ألا أن الحق مع فلان وشيعته. Someone. In the beginning of the day, Jibreel will scream. And at the end of it, Iblis will scream. And those who have an inclination towards the enemies of Allah will believe in the scream of Iblis. However, those who have the inclination towards Ahlul Bayt will believe the scream of Jibreel. There's a lot of ahadith that talk about this. The Holy Prophet says, when you hear the sayha of Jibreel, lock your doors, go in your houses, cover yourselves. And when you hear the sayha, go into sujood and say, Subbuh Quddus 2 times. For whoever doesn't will perish. This is a scary thing, the sayha. So the name of the Imam will be called upon on the night of the 23rd of Shahr Ramadan. وَيَقُومْ فِي يَوْمِ عَاشُورَا. And he will reappear on the 10th of Muharram. On the day that Imam al-Hussain dies is where the day that Imam al-Mahdi alayhi salam reappears. وَهُوَ الْيَوْمَ الَّذِي قُتِلَ فِيهِ الْحُسَيْنِ alayhi salam. And when he goes and he reappears, one of his cries is, ألا يا أهل العالم إن جدي الحسين قتلوه عطشانا. One of the screams is, O people of the world, my grandfather Hussein was martyred thirsty. Notice the movement of Imam al-Mahdi is backed by the blood of Imam al-Hussain. Is backed by the blood of Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam. And then Imam Reda alayhi salam, he mentions in his hadith, remember yesterday when I talked about the 4,000 angels, where this is even in the other schools of thought, they talk of the 4,000 angels. When they came down, they saw it was too late. Hussein has already been killed. So what they do is, they stay at the grave of Imam al-Hussain, 4,000 of them crying, weeping, until Imam al-Mahdi reappears. And when he reappears, these 4,000 angels will be with the Imam, and their scream and their cry will be Ya li tharat al-Hussain, calling out for the revenge and the blood of Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam. That is called the what? the introductory link, the fath of Imam al-Hussain. The slaughter of Imam al-Hussain was necessary to become the backbone of the ultimate movement, which is the movement of Imam al-Mahdi. The ultimate hope for not only the Muslims and the believers, but for the prophets themselves. The backbone of that movement was the blood of Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam. The fourth link is the link of revenge. Ya li tharat al-Hussain. Imam al-Hussain was killed and was slaughtered. And in traditional Arab tribes, the one who his family member dies, the brother or the father or the son of that person that died is the one that takes revenge. Is the one that what? Takes revenge. And hence we have Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam speaks to Zayn al-Abidin. He says, Ya waladi ya Ali, wallah لا يسكن دمي حتى يبعث الله المهدي عليه السلام فيقتل على دمي المنافقين والكفرة. He says, O Zayn al-Abidin, O my son Ali, my blood will not settle. Imam al-Hussein's blood will continue boiling. He said, my blood will not settle until Allah brings down al-Mahdi, and he will take my revenge by killing those who have killed me, by killing those who have wronged me. This is the battle that takes place when the Imam reappears. In other religions, in other faiths, what do they call it? The battle of Armageddon. They speak, even Ronald Reagan, the President of the United States, speaks about the battle of Armageddon. In all faiths, they talk about the battle of Armageddon, Hirmajdown in the Arabic language. This battle of Armageddon, even they believe, where all evil will resurrect and all good will resurrect, and the final battle will occur where eventually good will prevail. They call it Hirmajdown, Armageddon. For our belief, it is called Al-Raj'ah. One of the central beliefs of the Imamiyya, of the Shia, is Al-Raj'ah. Al-Raj'ah being that Imam al-Mahdi will reappear. And with him the Prophet Muhammad will reappear. And with him Amir al-Mu'mineen will reappear. And with him the Ahl al-Bayt will reappear back again. And so will the Kafara. So will Yazid. So will Muawiyah. And even Iblis will be there. This is the ultimate battle. The final battle is the battle of Armageddon. And in that is where Imam al-Hussain takes revenge for the death of the killers. Imam al-Mahdi takes revenge for the killers of Imam al-Hussain. And this isn't nothing that you're going to tell me this is a bit far-fetched, this is a bit how you're going. Inna al-arth narithuha ibadi as-salihun. That the earth will be inherited by my servants. Tell me at one point in time where this earth was ruled and controlled by the servants of Allah. The Quran made a promise. Either you tell me the Quran is incorrect, or either you tell me this promise hasn't been fulfilled yet. My earth will be inherited by my servants. When was the earth inherited by the servants of Allah? It has never been inherited by the servants of Allah. But it will be inherited by Al-Mahdi. And that is where he takes revenge for his grandfather's slaughter, Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam. And hence why in Ziyarat Ashura, what do we say? As-salamu alayka ya thar Allah wa abna. Peace be upon you. O Tharullah. See, in the Arabic language, Thar originally means blood, not revenge. Blood. Tharullah wa abna thar. Revenge, blood. Notice, I don't know if you noticed this when you go ziyarah, and inshallah we all can return to ziyarah Tabi Abdullah al-Hussain as soon as possible. On normal days, other than Muharram, the flag on top of the shrine of Imam al-Hussain is what color? Who has noticed this? Red. However, in Muharram, what color is it? Black. Black for the tragedy of Abu Abdullah. But why on the other days is it red? What's the reason behind the color being red on the flag? The Arab tribes, they have this tradition. If someone from my tribe was killed wrongfully by another person, I hang a red flag on my house. On the roof of my house, I hang a red flag. What does that mean? It means that I have blood and someone has to pay. I have blood. I owe blood. Someone in my family was killed, and this red flag will remain on the top of my house until I take my revenge. When I take my revenge, then I put down the red flag. Imam al-Hussain, for 1,400 years, this red flag has stayed up on his shrine. And when Imam al-Mahdi will reappear, that is when finally that red flag will get taken down. But as long as Imam al-Mahdi has not reappeared and taken revenge, that red flag signaling blood, that we owe blood, we have blood to take, is remaining on the shrine of Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam. So it's the revenge link as well. That Imam al-Mahdi will take revenge for the killers of Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam. And then we read in Dua al-Nudbah, this dua that usually we read every Friday morning or with every Eid. It says, أين الطالب بذحول الأنبياء وأبناء الأنبياء. When we are speaking to Imam al-Mahdi, we are saying, where is the one who takes revenge for the deaths, not only of Imam al-Hussain, بذحول الأنبياء وأبناء الأنبياء, the revenge of the prophets and the sons of the prophets. Bani Israel used to kill 3 prophets a day. Some ahadith say they used to kill 70 prophets a day. Yahya, the son of Zakaria, was slaughtered very similar to the way Imam al-Hussain was slaughtered. Who takes revenge for that? All of this, the revenge will be on the shoulders of Imam al-Mahdi, ajjalallahu ta'ala farajahu al-sharif. And also hence why we say in Ziyarat Ashura, فَأَسْأَلُ اللَّهَ الَّذِي أَكْرَمَ مَقَامَكَ وأكرمني بك أن يرزقني طلب ثارك مع إمام منصور من أهل بيت محمد. You read in Ziyarat Ashura, you say, so I ask Allah who has given me the blessing to understand your high status, to give me the rizq, the sustenance, the tawfiq, the aid to take your revenge with the Imam of our time. You ask this. You are similar. Your blood boils as well for the death of Imam al-Hussain. Your blood boils. You wish to take revenge for those who killed Imam al-Hussain. And that's what we ask from Allah, to give us the tawfiq, the rizq, to take revenge for the killers of Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam. And the 5th and final link is the emotional link. Ziyarat al-Nahiya, and I recommend this is the night of the 10th. Tomorrow is the day that your master was slaughtered. Tomorrow is the day that your master was trampled on by the horses. Tomorrow is the day where your master and his family were massacred. Read Ziyarat al-Nahiya. Ziyarat al-Nahiya is the visitation of Imam al-Hussain, but it is written by Imam al-Mahdi. Ziyarat al-Nahiya is written by Imam al-Mahdi, and it is a ziyarat to Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam. Look at what Imam al-Mahdi speaks to his grandfather Imam al-Hussain. What does he say? He says, سلام من لو كان معك بالطفوف لوقاك بنفسه حد السيوف. He says, peace be upon you, Aba Abdullah. As-salam, that if I was there on the tufuf, I would have protected you from the swords with my own body. The emotional link between Imam al-Mahdi and his grandfather Imam al-Hussain. And then where he says, فلأندبنك صباحا ومساء ولأبكين عليك بدل الدموع دما. That I will call for you day and night, and I will cry over you instead of tears, blood. Imam al-Mahdi every day and evening cries over Imam al-Hussain, blood. He cries over Imam al-Hussain. Do not think, some people, unfortunately, and very unfortunately, they say that one day is enough to commemorate Abu Abdullah. That is very unfortunate. Your Imam cries over Imam al-Hussain twice a day, every single day. And not cries tears, cries blood. Blood. Do you know at what level you have to cry until you keep bleeding from the tears? Your Imam cries to this extent, to this level over the tragedy of Imam al-Hussain. You tell me only commemorate him one day? La wallah. If we commemorate him the rest of our lives, it won't be enough. La wallah. Just the tragedy of his 6-month-old infant, if we cry over that our entire lives, it won't be enough. Just the tragedy of Abdullah. And that is what happened on the day of Karbala, and inshallah I'll read for you what happened to Abdullah al-Radi', and I will end. And I thank all of you for the opportunity to be here and do the lectures over here. It has been an honor, and I thank all of you. And inshallah we continue to commemorate Abu Abdullah al-Hussain and the tragedy of Imam al-Hussain. Your Imam cries over Imam al-Hussain blood. Look at what happened. If the brothers can please turn on the echo. When Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam, when everyone else was killed, Abbas was killed, Ali al-Akbar was killed, no one else was left with Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam. Imam al-Hussain called out for the last time, Ala min nasirin yansuruna, Ala min dhabbin yadhubbu anna. Is there anyone there to aid us? Is there anyone there to protect us? He heard a cry from the tents of his sister Zainab. After no one answered Imam al-Hussain, he went back to the tent and he thought it was his sister Zainab. He said, "Oh Zainab, your brother is still alive. Why are you crying?" She says, "My brother Hussain, when you called out, is there anyone to help me?" Ali al-Asghar fell from the cradle. It is as if Ali al-Asghar was screaming, "I will help you, Abu Abdullah." The 6-month-old, it is as if he is crying, "I will aid you, Abu Abdullah." Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam knew what Ali al-Asghar was trying to say. He went to Rabab, which is the mother of Ali al-Asghar. Ali al-Asghar was on her lap. He was crying and Rabab was trying to comfort him. For 3 days this infant had not tasted a drop of water. Imam al-Hussain carried Ali al-Asghar to the battlefield. Ali al-Asghar was thirsty. Imam al-Hussain covered Ali al-Asghar with his cloak to protect him from the scorching sun. Yazid's men saw Hussain approaching with something in his hand. Hussain walked to Yazid's soldiers by moving his cloak. He uncovered Ali al-Asghar. He held Ali al-Asghar high with both his hands and said, "O soldiers of Yazid, you feel I have offended you, but what is this little child done to you? What is the sin of this little child?" And then he says, "His mother's milk has dried up. He has not had a drop of water for 3 days. He is dying of thirst. I beg you, give water to this innocent child." None of Yazid's soldiers brought any water to Ali al-Asghar. Once more Imam al-Hussain said, "Maybe you think that when you bring me water I will drink, and instead of this child drinking I will put this little child on the ground. You come and give him water yourself." Imam al-Hussain placed Ali al-Asghar on the plains of Karbala and went back to the tent so that hopefully they can take the child and feed him. Hopefully they can take the child and give him water. Hussain placed Ali al-Asghar on the burning sand of Karbala. Ali al-Asghar lay quietly on the sand of Karbala. He's turned his head towards the men of Yazid. No water came for Ali al-Asghar alayhi salam. It hit the hearts of some of Yazid's soldiers who had children of their own. They became restless. Some started crying. They said, "Hussain is saying the truth. What has this little child done to us? Why is he punished like this? Let's give him some water." Some said, "No, let's kill every single one of them." Umar ibn Sa'd ordered his best archer, Harmala, may Allah curse him. He says, "What are you waiting for? Cut the disruption between the army. Silence this little child or silence his father. hurry, shoot your arrow. The father of the son between it's too late. Harmala said, as I was reloading my arrow, not any arrow, he got the three-headed arrow. He said, as I was reloading my arrow, as I was aiming, I went to see, should I shoot the father, should I shoot the son? And I was in that state. I saw an opening on the neck of the child, so I aimed it upon the neck of Ali al-Asghar, and I shot him, and the arrow reached the neck of Ali al-Asghar. Ay rahim Allahu man nada wa musibata. Ay rahim Allahu man nada wa aliya. They said when the arrow hit the neck of Ali al-Asghar, he began to flap his hands like a dead bird. And then Imam al-Hussain has the blood dripping from his neck. He picked up the blood and he lifted it to the sky. They said that the angels told Imam al-Hussain, "Oh Hussain, do not let the blood fall on the ground. If the blood falls on the ground, there will be no goodness on this earth. The earth itself will be shattered if the blood of a 6-month-old baby falls to the ground." And then as Imam al-Hussain was in that state, he sees his son holding his son slaughtered from the neck to the other side of the neck. This is a 6-month-old baby. The 6-month-old baby, his neck is only so big. The three-headed arrow was big. They said the three-headed arrow was around 18 centimeters. How big is the neck of a baby? Some said that it decapitated the head of Ali al-Asghar. Imagine the state of Rubab when he took his child back to her. A mother who had hoped that the army would give water to her child comes back to see her child slaughtered. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا آل محمد أي منقلب ينقلبون والعاقبة للمتقين. We ask Allah on this night, on this tragic night, the night where it is the last time Sayyidah Zainab sees her brother Al-Hussain, the night where Sayyidah Zainab's last time seeing her brother Al-Abbas. We ask Allah on this night to hasten the reappearance of our Imam Sahib al-Asr wal-Zaman. اللهم عجل لوليك الفرج والعافية والنصر واجعلنا من أنصاره وأعوانه وشيعته ومحبيه والمستشهدين بين يديه وإلى أرواح المؤمنين والمؤمنات. رحم الله من قرأ سورة المباركة.